There are times when life takes us on journeys we struggle to make sense of. We experience loss, we encounter crises, or we feel as though our world is crumbling around us. But have you ever considered that each difficulty might carry a deeper meaning? What if every setback, every misstep, and every surprise detour was actually part of something far greater? Buddhist philosophy reminds us that randomness doesn't truly exist. Each moment we experience has the power to shape who we become, to instruct us, and to draw us nearer to profound understanding. In today's exploration, we'll discover how to place our trust in the journey, how to embrace whatever comes our way, and how to transform barriers into stepping stones. If you've ever found yourself wondering, "Why is this happening to me?" I encourage you to stay until the very end. The insight you're about to receive could completely shift your perspective on existence itself. The deeper meaning behind our pain. Pain remains one of humanity's most shared realities. None of us can avoid loss, setbacks, or heartbreak. Yet what distinguishes us isn't the trials themselves, but rather the meaning we assign to them. Within Buddhist thought, suffering doesn't represent punishment or random misfortune. Rather, it functions as a teacher in disguise. Even when we can't grasp its purpose in the present, each hardship contains a lesson waiting to be discovered. When discomfort arrives, our natural response is resistance. We wish for problems to vanish, for circumstances to return to their former state, for the uneasiness to simply disappear. But consider this possibility. What if suffering exists not to harm us, but to rebuild us? Life's most powerful lessons frequently arrive through struggle. Similar to how intense heat refines precious metals, challenges burn away what no longer serves us and expose our authentic core. The Buddha's teaching was clear. Pain is unavoidable, but prolonged suffering represents a decision we make. The distinction comes down to our approach. When we grip tightly to discomfort, we extend its stay. When we battle against it, we amplify its strength. However, when we learn to witness it without terror, we uncover something remarkable. Inside every painful moment lives a seed of understanding, patiently waiting to be recognized. There exists a timeless Buddhist tale that demonstrates this beautifully. A student approached his teacher, complaining bitterly about life's unfairness. He believed the universe was working against him, that nothing ever unfolded favorably. The teacher listened carefully, then requested that the student fetch a handful of salt. He instructed the student to dissolve the salt in a cup of water and take a drink. The student sipped and recoiled, remarking that it tasted unbearably harsh. Next, the teacher brought him to a nearby lake and asked him to scatter the same amount of salt into its waters. Following this, he invited the student to drink once more. This time, the student's face brightened, noting that the water tasted clean and fresh. The teacher responded with wisdom. "The suffering you encounter is much like this salt. Its nature doesn't shift. What shifts is the vessel you choose to contain it within. If you desire your pain to feel less overwhelming, broaden the way you perceive it." This narrative carries profound truth. When our attention fixes solely on what hurts, that hurt consumes our entire being. But when we expand our awareness, when we recognize that each experience forms part of a grander design, the pain loses its power to devour us. Instead of demanding, "Why is this my burden?" we might begin questioning, "What wisdom is hidden here for me?" So frequently, the moments that break us open end up leading us toward our greatest revelations. What initially appears as catastrophe can eventually show itself as unexpected fortune. The loss of employment might guide us toward work that truly matters. A relationship's ending might reveal the importance of loving ourselves first. A moment of crisis might awaken us to an entirely different way of being. Buddhism encourages us to view suffering as a catalyst for expansion. This doesn't mean we should seek out pain deliberately. Rather, It means recognizing that when hardship arrives, it hasn't come to demolish us. It has arrived to educate us. Every difficult circumstance demands that we cultivate fresh capacities, endurance, inner strength, kindness toward ourselves and others. It illuminates the aspects of our being that require healing and offers us the opportunity for metamorphosis. If you wish to apply this understanding practically, I offer you this suggestion. The next time adversity finds you, rather than pushing it away, pause. Then ask yourself these questions. What lesson awaits me here? How might I harness this experience for my evolution? What truth is this discomfort attempting to reveal about who I am? Pain will always be woven into the fabric of existence, but it need not determine who we become. When we welcome its teachings, we cease viewing it as our adversary. We begin employing it as an instrument for personal revolution. Ultimately, every trial we encounter simply marks another step forward on our journey toward true awakening. Without upheaval, there can be no evolution. Comfort is something we all pursue, yet we rarely pause to examine its influence on us. When life flows smoothly, when everything appears manageable, we naturally settle into patterns. We cling to familiarity, we sidestep risk. We select the safety of what we know over the unpredictability of transformation. But within Buddhist wisdom, there exists a fundamental teaching. Without upheaval, evolution cannot occur. The moments that shake us to our foundation often become the very catalysts that spark genuine change. Crises, despite their painful nature, serve to wake us from our slumber. They tear us from our routines, push us past our perceived limitations, and compel us to question beliefs we once held as absolute. Without such disruptions, we might never acquire new capabilities, challenge outdated perspectives, or venture down paths we would have otherwise overlooked. Life, in its boundless wisdom, employs adversity as the primary tool for our transformation. Picture a seed resting on the earth's surface. If it remains there, bathed in sunlight and exposed to open air but never buried beneath the soil, it will never become a tree. It must be pushed into darkness. It must break open from within. It must fight its way upward toward the light. The journey is arduous, but this is the only path through which life can truly emerge. The same principle applies to us. Without moments that challenge us deeply, without inner breaking points that force growth, we wouldn't have the chance to realize our fullest potential. A Buddhist story captures this perfectly. Once, a student questioned his teacher, "Why must life contain so much difficulty?" The teacher guided him into a forest and directed his attention to a butterfly struggling intensely to escape its cocoon. The student, filled with compassion, felt compelled to intervene. He carefully tore the cocoon apart to free the creature. The butterfly emerged, but its wings remained weak and underdeveloped. It could never take flight. The teacher explained the essential truth. The very struggle to break free is what strengthens the butterfly's wings. Without that resistance, without that effort, it remains forever grounded. Just as with the butterfly, we require life's resistance to build our inner strength. Every challenging situation forces us to adapt, to expand, to discover fresh approaches to whatever lies before us. Without these moments of disruption, we would remain unchanged, confined within our zones of comfort. Buddhist teaching invites us to perceive chaos not as misfortune, but as possibility. Instead of asking, "Why must I endure this?" we might ask, "What transformation is this experience attempting to awaken in me?" When we look backward through our own history, most genuine personal growth didn't unfold during peaceful, stable periods. It emerged during crisis. Loss revealed the true value of what we possessed. Failure cultivated resilience. Unexpected shifts pushed us down roads we never would have chosen independently. Accepting chaos doesn't mean finding joy in suffering. It means grasping that disruption forms an essential part of the process. When we cease resisting and begin flowing with change, we discover strength we never knew existed within us. Life isn't about dodging challenges. It's about learning to harness them for our benefit. Every crisis extends an invitation to evolve. If we place our trust in the unfolding process, we'll witness something remarkable. After the chaos settles, a new version of ourselves invariably emerges, stronger, wiser, and more liberated. Dharma, the hidden order within all things. There are moments when existence feels wildly out of control. We encounter barriers we never anticipated. Things refuse to unfold according to our designs, and we begin questioning whether we've lost our way. But Buddhism reveals something different. Nothing within the universe occurs by mere chance. An invisible order guides all things, even when our eyes cannot perceive it. This order bears the name Dharma. Dharma represents the natural law governing all existence. It's the quiet, flawless flow beneath life's surface events, where everything manifests at precisely the proper moment and for a specific purpose. No mistakes exist, no true accidents occur. Even experiences we label as negative form part of a far greater equilibrium. Observe the natural world. Seasons shift exactly when they must. Rivers flow without any resistance. Trees grow without hurry or anxiety. Nothing in nature questions why things exist as they do. It simply follows its inherent course. Yet, as human beings, we resist this flow. We demand that life conform to our expectations, and when it refuses, we experience suffering. An ancient Buddhist tale illustrates this wisdom. A man found himself trapped in a violent storm at sea. He fought the waves with every ounce of his strength, battling to keep his head above water. But the more fiercely he struggled, the deeper he sank beneath the surface. Exhausted beyond measure, he finally surrendered. He let go completely and allowed himself simply to float. In that very instant, the current gently carried him back toward the safety of shore. This reveals how Dharma operates. When we stop our resistance and place our trust in life's current, we often discover our path with far less struggle. This doesn't advocate for passivity. It doesn't suggest that everything has been predetermined. On the contrary, Dharma invites us to act with full awareness, to make choices aligned with our authentic nature. Many times, suffering appears when we stray from our true purpose. Life sends us signals, and if we ignore these messages, we encounter obstacles designed to force us back into alignment with who we genuinely are. Buddhism teaches that when something departs from our life, it's because it no longer serves our expansion. When we face challenges, it's because we're being prepared for what awaits us next. And when something experiences delay, it's because the timing hasn't yet aligned. Dharma reminds us that everything unfolds in its own perfect time. We cannot force a flower to bloom prematurely, nor can we command the sun to rise before its appointed hour. The same truth applies to our personal journeys. We often crave immediate answers. We want pain to end quickly. We desire change to happen right now. But life possesses its own rhythm. Trusting that rhythm liberates us from anxiety and frustration. When we begin understanding that everything unfolds for a reason, we stop perceiving difficulties as punishments. Instead, we recognize them as opportunities. If something refuses to work, rather than fighting against it, we might ask ourselves, what lesson is this attempting to teach me? Often, Dharma's wisdom reveals itself only with time. What appears as lost today may later show itself as precisely what we needed. But if we can trust life's invisible order, we discover peace even amidst uncertainty. Each of us walks a unique path. We cannot measure our journey against anyone else's. What serves another person may not serve us. Listening to our inner voice, following our intuition, and embracing change with openness helps us walk in harmony with Dharma. We are not here by accident. Every experience, every person we encounter, and every decision we make forms part of a greater balance. When we trust that everything happens in its perfect time, we stop living in fear. We begin living with purpose. The fantasy of control, learning to trust life's flow. From our earliest years, we're taught that we must take control of our lives. If we work diligently, create solid plans, and make wise decisions, we're promised things will unfold the way we desire. But sooner or later, life demonstrates otherwise. No matter how meticulously we plan, certain things slip beyond our grasp. A relationship that seemed unshakable crumbles. A job we believed was secure vanishes. Plans that appeared flawless suddenly collapse for reasons we cannot explain. When circumstances don't align with our wishes, we experience frustration, anxiety, and fear. We question ourselves. What did I do wrong? Why did everything fall to pieces when I tried to do everything correctly? This is where Buddhism offers a powerful revelation. Control is an illusion. Nothing in life is ever truly guaranteed. We believe we can manufacture stability, but the reality is that life moves according to its own rhythm. The difficulty lies in our mind's craving for certainty. It demands guarantees. It wants to know precisely what will happen and when. And when life fails to provide those assurances, we experience panic. An ancient Buddhist story illuminates this beautifully. A king once asked his 3 advisors why life remained so unpredictable. The first advisor claimed it was purely luck. The second insisted it resulted from past decisions. But the third advisor said nothing at all. Instead, he led the king to a flowing river and asked him to attempt stopping the water with his bare hands. The king tried with all his might, but regardless of what he did, the water continued its flow. The advisor then spoke. Life resembles this river. You can attempt to control it, but ultimately it will flow the way it must. The only choice you truly possess is to learn how to move alongside it. Suffering frequently stems from clinging to our ideas of how things should be. We convince ourselves we'll only find happiness if we achieve a particular goal, if life remains exactly as we want it, if nothing ever changes. But life doesn't function that way. It never has. And the more tightly we grasp our need for control, the more difficult it becomes to flow with what's actually happening. Releasing control doesn't mean surrendering or becoming passive. It means understanding that while we can take action and make choices, we cannot force life to follow our script. We do our very best, but we release our grip on the outcome. In Buddhism, there exists a practice called Wu Wei. It translates as effortless action or non-doing. It doesn't mean sitting idle and doing nothing. It means acting in harmony with life's natural flow. Rather than attempting to push against the current, we learn to navigate with it. Rather than resisting the inevitable, we adapt and move gracefully with whatever life brings. When we trust that life will carry us where we need to go, anxiety begins to dissolve. We stop obsessing over what might occur tomorrow and start living fully in this present moment. We accept that times of uncertainty will arrive, but we no longer perceive them as threats. We see them as natural and necessary aspects of our journey. One helpful practice involves reflecting on past moments when life refused to follow your plan. Yet something better emerged. Perhaps a relationship ended and led to deeper self-discovery. Perhaps a lost job opened doors to more meaningful work. Perhaps a failure revealed strengths you didn't know you possessed. When we release the fantasy of control, we stop living in fear. We stop attempting to manipulate every detail of existence and instead trust our capacity to face whatever arrives. This doesn't mean life will become easy, but it does mean we can discover peace even in the midst of uncertainty. Life isn't something we control, it's something we learn to live. When we stop fighting the natural flow, we discover a calm and clarity we never thought possible. Finding serenity in the unexpected. How to embrace uncertainty. Life overflows with surprises. One moment, everything feels steady. The next, everything shifts. We lose employment, a relationship reaches its end, a challenge appears that we never saw coming. Uncertainty is woven into life's fabric. But rather than accepting this truth, most people resist it. We search for safety, control, and certainty. Yet change remains the only constant we genuinely possess. Buddhism teaches that peace doesn't arise from eliminating uncertainty, it comes from learning to live alongside it. We cannot stop life from changing, but we can choose our response. We can find calm even when nothing feels certain. Imagine yourself in a small boat, drifting across the middle of the ocean. If you attempt to control the waves themselves, you'll exhaust yourself completely. But if you learn to move with them, to flow with their rhythm, instead of resisting, you'll find you can navigate even the roughest waters. Uncertainty resembles the ocean. We cannot halt its movement, but we can learn the art of sailing through it. There's a story in Buddhist tradition about a monk living high upon a mountain. One day, a villager came rushing to warn him, "A massive storm is approaching. You must leave before it's too late." The monk responded with calm, "If the storm arrives, I will welcome it." The villager, confused and concerned, insisted, "But you could perish." And the monk smiled gently, "If I perish, I will accept death. If I survive, I will accept life. Whatever unfolds, I will accept it." This doesn't suggest we should be reckless or ignore reasonable precautions. It means we release our fear of what we cannot control. The fear of uncertainty stems from doubting our own capacity to face the unknown. But the truth is this: we've already survived every challenge life has presented us, and that means we can face whatever comes next. Many times, the unexpected brings opportunities we never could have imagined. Losing a job can guide us toward a new career path. The end of a relationship can open the way to deeper self-love. A sudden challenge can push us to grow in ways we never thought possible. When life alters our plans, it might be preparing us for something better. One powerful way to find peace in uncertainty is to ask yourself, how many times has something that seemed terrible at first later revealed itself as a blessing? Do I truly need to have all the answers right now? Am I missing the present moment because I'm fixating on a future that doesn't even exist yet? Life is always in motion. Fighting against that flow only generates suffering. Accepting uncertainty doesn't mean abandoning your goals or dreams. It means trusting that regardless of what happens, you will find your way through. Peace doesn't come from possessing every answer. It comes from learning how to live comfortably with the questions. It's not about knowing exactly what tomorrow will bring. It's about trusting that you'll be able to face whatever arrives. Nothing in life is completely certain, but when you release your fear of the unknown, you discover an amazing freedom. Instead of worrying about what could happen, you begin living fully in the present. The path to awakening. How every event draws us closer to enlightenment. Life can often feel unpredictable. We move through challenges, losses, and changes we never requested. Yet, each of these experiences carries a lesson within it. Buddhism teaches that every event, regardless of how painful or confusing, forms part of our journey toward awakening. Enlightenment isn't some distant destination. It's not something we search for outside ourselves. It already exists within us, waiting to be recognized. And every moment in life, especially the difficult ones, calls us to wake up, to see things as they truly are, without fear and without resistance. Consider the times you've grown most profoundly. They probably weren't the easiest moments. They were the times when life pushed you, tested you, and made you look deeper. That's the path to awakening. Not a sudden revelation, but the slow, steady process of understanding yourself and your place in the world. When we stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can I learn from this?" everything transforms. We shift from feeling like victims to becoming students of life. Every obstacle becomes a teacher. Every setback becomes an invitation to grow. So, If life feels heavy right now, if you're facing something you don't understand, trust that it's part of your journey. Nothing is wasted. Nothing happens by accident. Everything that takes place is shaping you into who you're meant to become. If this message resonates with you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and join this community where we explore these teachings together. And I'd love to know what lesson from this exploration stayed with you most deeply. Share it in the comments. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.